Hello class, how you doing? My name is Professor Parker. First of all, I want to apologize for not doing an introduction speech so you guys didn't get to know me a little better. I got caught up in a few things and I didn't get around to it and I feel really bad about it. But I'm going to give you a brief little synopsis on me, be very brief. I'm from Bolivia, North Carolina, which is a small town in North Carolina. It's very, very little, very country. It's around the Wilmington area, outside of the Myrtle Beach area of South Carolina, if anybody's familiar with there. And I moved up here to Connecticut in 2004 after I got a job at ESPN, and I've been there for the last 9 years. So, and I have a family. I have a wife, a beautiful daughter who is 6 years old, and definitely is a handful, but we love her. And we love our kids. All right, but that's a little quick thing about me. I know it's very brief, but I want to get to our unit of listening and what we're talking about now. And I don't want to hold you guys up. I know we all have busy lives and a lot of stressful lives at times. But I want to play a few listening games to start off, because listening is one of those things that we're quick to say that we do well, but a lot of times we really don't, or we really don't listen as well as we think we do. In our minds, we think we're the greatest listeners in the world, or it's the first strength that we go to. And whenever we're labeling good, strong characteristics about ourselves. So I'm going to put you to the test and see how well do you actually listen. So just follow along with me. These games will have questions that you have to answer. I want you to do it out loud. Do it with your family. Do it by yourself, wherever you are. All right. So you ready? Here's the first one. I want you to say with me out loud the word spot 5 times. The word spot. Here we go. Spot, 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 spot. Now, what do you do at a green light? All right. Hopefully you said go. You go at a green light and not stop. I know some of you out there were screaming out stop. But make sure you're listening. Make sure you're listening to the question I'm asking. All right. The second game. I want you to spell with me 2 different words. The first one is the word coast. C-O-A-S-T. Coast. The second is the word roast. R-O-A-S-T. Roast. What do you put in the toaster? Bread. You put bread in the toaster, right? Not toast. I know somebody was screaming toast out there, but make sure you're listening. Make sure those listening ears are on. All right. I know you're not going to trip me up. You said there's 3 games, so there's one more. So I know everybody's got this one now because you're listening very closely. Probably leaning in, got your ears up. All right, here we go. I have 3 apples. You take 2 of them. How many apples do you have? All right, you have 2, right? If I said how many apples do I have, that would be 1. But you guys have 2, because I said I have 3 and you take 2. So I know everybody passed those games with flying colors because we are the greatest listeners in the world, right? Well, I know for myself, I failed at that game many times. well, I wasn't many times, because after the first time, I was ready for any time I heard those 3 games played again. But to continue on, I want to talk about 4 important reasons for why we listen. Why do we listen in the first place? What's the big deal about it? Well, number 1, we listen to obtain and retain information. Whenever you're sitting in a classroom, you're listening to the professor, you're listening to obtain new information, you're listening to learn something new, you're listening to retain it for a test or something coming up. We do this on our jobs and training programs. You're obtaining new information, you're retaining information. You want to be able to dig back deep into your memory and pull up things that you need to remember, because that's, as you've been learning the last step of listening, that's the last step, is actually remembering what you have heard. So beyond obtaining and retaining information, we also listen to evaluate messages. So we evaluate all sorts of messages through the day. We get messages from the TV, from our friends, from our spouses, from our significant others, from radio, from wherever. And so scholars say we have what we call the crap detector, right? Very scholarly. But basically we have a crap detector that we weed through all the crap in life, and we evaluate messages and listening to those that are important to us, or those that are important to the world, or important to whatever. But whatever the reason it is, but you evaluate those messages and you weed through it with your own personal crap detector. Now, we also listen to build and maintain relationships. Now, that's probably a given right there. That's what we think about listening with the most. We listen to build friendships. We listen to build relationships of all fronts. And it's a lot of times that's why relationships end, right? I'm sure some of you have said that he doesn't listen to me, or she doesn't listen, or he never, this and that. Listening, it can be tough. It is a learned skill. It's not something that everybody naturally does well. So we listen to not to obtain, but to build those relationships and to maintain those relationships. Now, we also listen to help others. This is in all different kind of professions, whether it's clergy, whether it's psychiatrists or doctors, anything. We listen to help others. It would suck if you went into into the emergency room or to the doctor's office and you're rambling off all these things you're feeling, and then the doctor's like, "Oh, what did you say again? What's the problem?" Were you listening? Of course you want somebody to be listening then. But, we listen all the time. It comes automatic where we don't even think about it so much. But we listen to help others, and it doesn't have to be in a profession, but it could be in regular relationships as well. So once again, a review of the 4 main reasons: obtaining and retaining information, to evaluate messages, to build and maintain relationships, and also to help others. And that's just a quick little brief thing on 4 important reasons why we listen. So I want you to think about that. Actually think about listening as you're going through your day and go through your week. And listen and think about the reasons why you are listening. And whenever you're become an active listener versus an inactive listener, whenever you're thinking about it a lot more, you're going to become better at it. Once you make it something that you're completely aware of, to give your all to whoever is in front of you, to whatever you're listening to at the time. Because listening does take time, and it does take effort and energy put into it. So hopefully we all become better listeners by the end of this unit. I'm always being challenged whenever I review the material on listening and see how much further I have to go in that category. All right, I hope to hear from you guys, and especially how you did on the games.